Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria, where we are currently working on dealing with the price of paper. We absolutely want to drop the price of paper a lot here. That is absolutely killing us at this moment. 38.8k is what we're spending on paper right now. That is exclusively paper, by the way. To my knowledge. Yeah, that is exclusively paper. So we absolutely need to bring down the price of paper. We have a railway going in. That'll be done in 6 weeks. And then we have our paper mill in Palestine, and we're probably going to queue up more paper mills as we work our way through these logging camps. We do have this paper mill here that we may want to bring up. But for right now, we'll just leave this as it is, and we'll see how this goes. There's a revolution in Anatolia. Okay. That's absolutely fine for right now. So the current goal is finish this railway, finish that paper mill, get the logging camps going. So we may want to consider moving up the logging camps in Transjordan here as opposed to the ones in Lebanon. Just because the ones in Lebanon are a little bit lower efficiency, and maybe by the time we get there, they'll be a little better. But I think that's just due to a geographical location, right? Yeah, Mount Lebanon. So that's not actually going to change. It doesn't actually matter. So that's fine. We are starting work on those paper mills, or rather on the logging camps. And once those finish up, we'll find ourselves in a much better position here. That will drop the price of wood, which is of course needed for our paper production. If we take a look at our current paper mill, we can see the price of paper isn't terribly high right now. But we do have a bit of an issue with our wood price. I want to drop the price of wood. I want to increase our paper production because we're going to be increasing our paper demand as we work our way through these universities, and we're going to want more government administrations. So that's absolutely going to be a thing. So right now we're only working on logging camps, and I think that's fine. I'm actually not opposed to that. We've got a steel mill going in with private construction. I like it. That seems good. And they're working on privatizing a railway. Sure, why not? Seems okay. So we're going to get a bunch of these logging camps built, and that will absolutely lower the price of wood in this area, but the price of wood is not tremendously high. I mean, it's 41%. That's reasonably high. That's over halfway to the cap. But that's still, you know, we could definitely get more wood production going. That's for sure. So checking in over here in Transjordan, we're building a logging camp there. We're also building logging camps in Aleppo, which should be up over here. I'm not sure why it's not showing on the map, but yeah, we can see that we are starting to hire in here. Okay. Core issue here is that we don't have transportation. So we have we've not built our railway in Aleppo, I don't think. I'm just checking through here. Do we not have a railway in Aleppo? We might have one, or we might not. We have one. Okay, so this is going to hire in, and that's not actually a big deal then. So that sounds good. So we're going to get people put to work there that will supply transportation to these logging camps. We just didn't have demand for it previously. So that sounds good. We will definitely work our way through that, continue to hire in these logging camps, and get that maxed out. So that looks great. We are, of course, going to be boosting up our economy of scale over here, eventually. The Anti-Breton Society wants us to declare a rivalry with Brittany. I don't care about Brittany. Wait. Where is Brittany if they're not in Brittany? They're actually Taiwan. Okay, I care even less if they're Taiwan. That's very irrelevant to us. We don't care. Why is there an entire political lobby opposing them? Like, they're so far away. It's completely irrelevant to us. Whatever. It's fine. So we're continuing to work our way through these logging camps. And the logging camps are, of course, going quite quickly. We know that logging camps do build fast. This is not surprising. So over here in Transjordan, we're not hiring in here. I'm wondering if that's just a timing thing. Or if we don't have workforce here. There's no workforce. Wait, no. This is not in the state. This is more like what I wanted to see. So there's definitely peasants here. That's okay. For the time being, did I just favorite that? I didn't intend to favorite that. Let's go back into Transjordan and let's unfavorite that. We don't actually care that much about Transjordan. So that seems okay for now. We're going to be done with these logging camps very shortly here. That is going very, very well. We're going to be done with them in probably about 8 weeks. I know it says 12 here. This is not true. Unless we start a construction, I suppose, but that's not going to happen. So we're kind of overbuilding our logging camps right now, but that's deliberate, and that will be absolutely wonderful for us. If we look at our paper mills here, we can see that the price of wood has fallen. The price of paper has also fallen, and that's a very, very good thing for us. Currently, well, 38.8K still. So there's that. We do have our paper mill in Palestine starting to be worked on, as well as our railway in Israeli Chad. So I want to look through these buildings at this point and see, is there any of these that have gotten less bad? Well, not really. So that's understood. We are up to 15.3 million in our GDP now. That is a good sign. Now let's get that logging camp built in Lebanon, get that fully completed, and then we can get to work on some of these other structures. There we go. So our paper mill in Palestine, our last paper mill, is going in. And that should absolutely be fine on the price of wood at this point. Chemical bleaching. That's a big deal. That gives us access to bone china for glassworks, sure. But more importantly, paper bleaching for paper mills. We're about to tank the price of paper, which means that we're overbuilding our paper mills, which means that we should cancel this one. We did build a little bit into it, but I'm canceling it. So at this point, let's hop into our buildings. Let's check our glassworks here. We can go down to bone china, and this will cause less production of glass and more production of porcelain, which we don't really need at this time. So we'll leave that be, but our paper mills, I absolutely do want to go to paper bleaching. This is going to spike the price of dye. That's understood. The question is, can we absorb it? Well, we should have some dye plantations, I think. Not in our territories. Okay. None of these are in our territories. These are all in our vassal states. And that's not ideal. I don't think we can make dye works at this point and make synthetic dyes. I'm pretty sure we need a tech for that. And what tech is that we need? I think that's in society? Can we do a search here? Unfortunately, no, we cannot. Maybe it is under production. I think it's over on this side. This is art silk here for the synthetics plants. Yeah, we need to access the synthetics plants, and that's aniline. So that would be this, which we would need rubber mastication for, which we did just get chemical bleaching, so rubber mastication is available, but it's going to take a while. Mechanized workshops is being exposed, which I do like. I think at this point, our best bet is to just issue a subvention for dye. I don't like it, to be sure. This is not ideal. What is this trade view? Okay, I want to be in here. This is the view that I want. Okay, this is the view we were originally in. Perfect. So let's head on down and find ourselves dyes here. Here we go. And we just want to do subventions at this point. We're going to bump it up to maximum subventions, and we'll just see what we can do. Now, we can build more dye plantations in our client states, and that's probably a good idea. But for now, that's what we were going to do. And I'd like to check in here. So there's not a lot of peasants in Iran. In Upper Egypt, there are. And Upper Egypt is more connected to our market. So I think we should definitely do that. These guys are technically our neighbors, but we would own it. Would that export it to us? I don't know. Maybe, but I do think that we should at least try. So we should hop into our dye plantations, do this in Upper Egypt. I'm going to max this out in Iran, but there's not a lot that I'm expecting to get out of that. Let's put it that way. And then we've got Upper Egypt down over here. I'm going to build 2 there as well. So for now, we'll do something like that. Let's get the railway first, then we'll do the university, then we'll do the railway, then we'll do the university, kind of like that. Okay, so that seems fine. This is 18.3% construction efficiency in Iran. Okay, that's not too bad. Okay, just hopping through here, checking to see what we've got in that construction queue. It all looks good for now. So we'll get this dye plantation in Upper Egypt done first. No market goods shortage at this moment. So apparently we are getting dyes. That's good. That's very good. So we're currently illegitimate. And why did we just drop to illegitimate? That's interesting. We don't need to be having huge amounts of legitimacy, but our legitimacy is very low right now. Let's go ahead and hop over to this, which is the highest that we can do. People are pretty unhappy at the moment, and I would very much like to change our tax law, but right now I don't think is the time to do this. Amnesty for dissidents. Actually, landowner approval is fine. We would like to get some approval from somebody anyway. That would be nice. So that's okay. And as of right now, we are continuing to work on these constructions. So I'm fairly happy right now with our overall economic situation. We've grown to number 10 in GDP. That's a good sign. That means that we're moving up. So what do we got here? A new anti-France lobby? No. We don't want to move against France. That would be very bad for us. Very, very bad indeed. So we're getting that railway built in Israeli Chad for right now, and I want to continue to check through these. So minus 24.6 is not too bad. Actually, I'm going to move this up 1 just to mark it, because that's okay. That's only land there. This one's unincorporated, so I'm going to move this down to the bottom, and then this one, we have to check in here. That's only because it's in the Sahara. Okay. This one, turmoil, and it's in the Sahara. So, I mean, sure. We could go through all of these and check those, but for now, I'll just keep eyeballing it, I think. That's just going to be a little tedious to check every single one of them. We theoretically could, and we probably should, but for right now, I think we'll just continue working through like this. So we're down to a local shortage of transportation in 16 regions. That's noted. And our government is currently unacceptable. Now, one thing we could do is we could start moving towards exiting monarchy here. Actually, we can't because we only have the landowners in power right now. So we're currently ticking on down here. High income taxes. Our ruler is arrogant. That is not great. A new ruler would be good. That would definitely be good. But for the time being, there's not a lot that we can do. So we're losing our power rank because we only have 130 prestige, but now we're not. It's fine. There's no private construction ongoing right now. They're working on privatizing a railway. Okay. For the time being, we're building at a deficit, and we can keep doing that for a while. Yeah, we're not neighbors with Brittany. I know. It's a good thing they disbanded that political lobby because I don't know why they had any interest in that to begin with. That was very strange. So, expanding tooling workshops, and we also have a textile mill going in here. That looks great. So at this point, we're working towards steel frame buildings. We're 4 years away from steel frame buildings. That is understood. Our dye plantations are making solid progress. I don't think we need too many more dye plantations. I'm actually going to cancel this one before it really gets going, and that'll be fine. I'm going to move this railway up to here, and then this railway can be moved up. And we can just shop for more railways periodically when we need to, right? It's absolutely fine. We've got 6 years in the queue here. We can even build at slower paces if we need to. It's just not ideal, right? And that's fine. I would very much like to be in a situation here where I really wish we knew what these buildings with impetus shortages are. Transportation? Transportation. Okay. I want to check in on the status of the railway here. It's maxed out. So this railway needs to actually be expanded. Noted. I'm going to queue that up at the top, and yeah, this is fine. We'll build it there. So that seems okay, and then we can check in more of these. The logging camp here has a shortage of transportation. Yeah, we're not surprised about that. Okay, we're still colonizing down over this way. That seems fine for now. And we could colonize over here, but I'm not in a huge rush for it at this moment. So for right now, everything seems relatively okay. We're number 7 in the world. We're a major power, and that's a very good sign. Our GDP is number 10. We gotta bring that up. And so we're focusing pretty hard on these railways. What is going on here? Oh, this is happening again. I don't care. That's fine. They can do what they want. So that sounds good. We do see a steel mill going in up over here. It seems neat. And our railway in Israeli Outer Hausaland is going to be done very soon. So we want to make sure that we are in a situation where we are building at least one in all of these locations, right? And that's definitely something that's happening, but it's kind of a slow process. And then we need to find locations that have transportation shortages. So we can look at, say, Campania here, and we can see that where are their shortages? Transportation and transportation. So then if we check in on their railway, we can see this isn't built. And we knew that that wasn't built. That was just an example. So over here in Lazio, this is going to be the same situation. This railway isn't built. And in Sardinia, this railway isn't built. We made all of these people very angry, right? And that's not surprising. So those aren't built there. Down over here, we have a transportation shortage. We have a transportation shortage here as well. But these transportation shortages, they're not getting worse. They're at their cap. So we just want to continue to build through this. What is this? The Libyan desert here is at minus 54.3. I mean, it's slow, to be sure, but I'm going to move it up. It's not slow because it's unincorporated. It's slow for other reasons. So that seems okay. 29.3 here. Oh, this railway in Israeli Piedmont can be moved up. And I'm going to put that at the top of the queue. Basically, anything that is gray instead of red here, the policy is going to be it moves to the top of the queue. Okay, so the war with the Armenian positivist revolt has broken out. They don't need our help. This is done. They're attacking no one. Good job, Armenia. They're attacking no one again. Okay, there we go. They ended the war. Perfect. So we're continuing to grow here at a moderate rate. I'm not going to call that a good rate of growth, but it is certainly a moderate rate. So we're about 9 weeks away from finishing a university. If we check in here, we can see 77.4 is our current innovation rate. It's not perfect. Great Britain is improving relations. That's good. We like that. So that's absolutely fantastic. This railway is ready to be built. But if we continually move these exclusively to the top, then we're going to run into an issue where we're never actually finishing buildings. And we're going to hold off, I think, on moving this to the top, or we could just move it up to here, like that. So then this university in Amelia could be moved all the way up, but we would want to move this then down to be like down here, ideally. So there's some things going on up over here. That seems fine. I'm not very concerned about that. Our university in Israeli Piedmont is going to be finishing up very, very soon here, 2 weeks, and our railway in Lebanon in 6. So that looks good. Do we still have a transportation shortage over here? No. Okay. Well, we'll get that built anyway. So that seems fine for now. We definitely do need to continue to work through this. Privatizing tooling workshops. Okay, that'll help us pay off some of this debt. Not that we're too worried about the debt right now. We're really not very worried about that debt. We do see the steel mill finishing. That's great. But what we need right now is we gotta get these transportation shortages dealt with. We're down to 15 local shortages. So that's getting better. But we definitely do need to work our way through that. That said, we're about to finish up 2 more railways, and we're continually working our way through this. So that seems very, very good. We're 5 years away at this point from finishing this construction queue. We're up to 16 million on the GDP, continuing to grow. We have a lot of GDP right now that is needing to be unlocked from our transportation. And we'll get there. I am wondering about the status of subventions on dyes at this time. It felt like that went away way too quickly. So I'm thinking right now that we might need to dial back our dye subventions. Where are dyes in here? They're in here somewhere, right? I'm pretty sure they're in here somewhere. Yeah, here's dye. So we can see 59.7 is coming from quasi-domestic production. It's not really domestic production. It's being made primarily in Iran and Iranian Hormuz. We are importing a fair amount. Let's cut it down to high subventions, cut that in half, and we'll see what ends up happening there. Independence in Persia. This isn't our situation. Okay. Noted. So that's absolutely fine for now. We're going to continue to work through these. Now, some of these are going to be a little bit on the slow side. The Holy Roman Empire just claimed Venice and Croatia, but they're protective towards us. That's very rude of you. Venetia Uprising. That must be what they're doing. This was never our territory out over here. So they must be making claims down here because of this. But what about Croatia? Well, this is also, this is Croatia over here. So that would be why they made claims here. They're not actually trying to go after us. They're trying to go after this uprising. So that's fine. I don't actually care about that. So we're going to finish up this university in Emilia in 3 weeks here. And what's our current amount that we're spending on paper? Well, it's actually dropped down to 34.5K. That's a very good sign. We will, of course, continue to work on this, and I wish there was an easier way to see which of these... Ooh, this railway here can be brought up. We should definitely do that, as can this university. Excellent. And I'm just going to move these up. There we go. Something like that. As of right now, I wish there was an easier way to see whether these are integrated or not, other than going in here and then here, right? So we can see this is just the Sahara Desert. Not a problem. This is probably integrated. I think at this point, nearly everything is integrated. So that's very good. If we look in here, actually, we can see Apulia is integrating. Lazio, Lombardy, Sicily, Tuscany, Umbria, and Venetia. So this is basically Italy. Half of Italy. Everywhere else is integrated. Ish. We don't have these integrated because we're still colonizing. This state, however, this is still colonizing down over here. Okay. So that's absolutely noted. We're underway on that. So that all seems good. We do have more universities finishing. We're just building universities and railways at this time. We've got a lot of economy to unlock here. So we're definitely working on that. We're number 9 in the GDP now. We're definitely moving up the ranks. But let's look at that list. We've got a long ways to go, I bet. Yeah, Ming is at about 60 million. So we got a ways to go on that one. That said, what's their per capita? We can see their per capita GDP, I think, a little bit easier if we head out over here. Can we see their per capita? Yeah, 0.16 is their per capita GDP. Our per capita is 0.52. So per capita, we're doing far better than Ming. They just have a much larger population. I like it. Actually, we can check through the rest of the GDP list. We're now number 8, by the way. We can check through the rest of this. Ukraine is the next one. Their per capita is 0.5. So our per capita GDP is actually better than Ukraine's as well. Who's the next on the list? HRE. If we check in here, 0.45. Our per capita is doing a lot better than basically everyone else's. There might be some smaller nations that are doing better per capita than we are, but overall, that's going very, very well. I'm very pleased with that. It is about time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to continue to work on getting all of this construction done. We've got a ways to go on it, no doubt about it, but our GDP is absolutely getting unlocked here. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge SQL, Rornaz, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video. And as always, I will see you all next time.